where the bad pianos start to show. Keys all out of tune, just watch them go. Welcome to Adam and Joe talking nonsense on the Outside Scoop podcast show.
Hello, welcome to episode 6 of the Outside Scoop. Big news, Adam's got a mouse.
I brought my docking station. We have a mouse. Things are easier. More
Yeah.
ergonomic, you could say.
The laptop is still sat on a chair.
Yeah. I did lift the chair up, though.
Yeah.
Make it more comfortable.
Yeah, it's looking good.
And I'm going to try and fidget less on this episode.
You're going to sit still. I can tell you're already uncomfortable.
I'm already uncomfortable. I already need to move. I'm starting to shake. How long has it been? 30 seconds? Maybe not even that long.
I need to itch. I need to move.
I need to move.
What's this thing here on the side?
Docking station.
Right.
It goes across the whole bottom. For those that can't see, I'm waving my hand over the laptop.
Oh, I see.
When I say those who can't see, that's all of you.
So that's plugging into the USB
Yeah.
into your laptop, and everything's now in the back.
Everything goes in the back.
Look at that.
It just gives me a couple more USB slots.
Modern technology, eh? We are living in the future.
It's a powerful piece. And also, it tips the whole laptop to a really comfortable typing angle.
Does it?
Yeah. Now, I have been known to use, when I say known, by myself, to use the docking station without even plugging it in.
Oh.
That's a controversial move, I know.
Well, you got to look after the RSI, haven't you?
Yeah, you get RS. I'm already getting it. Looking forward to that carpal tunnel operation.
Do nothing with your hands for weeks. So, last night, eh?
Last night.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I don't think we'll ever see things like that again.
No. So, for those listening...
Or maybe in 11 years' time.
In the future, last night, the Northern Lights were across the entire UK.
Yeah, so it's the Friday the 10th of May.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier on that day and the day before, there was what's called a CME, a coronal mass ejection.
Yep.
Off the sun.
Yeah.
And the light show it made.
Biggest in 20 years.
I didn't even recognise what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I was looking at the sky going, well, it just looks a bit cloudy.
I remember telling you earlier in the day, I was like, oh, it's going to be a good show tonight.
Yeah.
You know, oh, yeah. Whatever.
Well, it's just like, we'll see. When it comes to natural phenomena,
you never know.
You can't get too excited because it most of the time it doesn't happen, does it? But last night, wow.
Yeah.
I'll edit some photos in so you can have a look, see what's going on.
I've seen we went to Iceland in 2016, I think it was. Yeah, 2015. 2015 we went to Iceland and we saw the Northern Lights on the first night there. We jumped in the hire car. I jumped on Google, the Aurora forecast, and it said, yeah, you have to go to basically the top of Iceland, and Reykjavik isn't at the top of Iceland. So I think we jumped in the car. Bottom left, something like that. And we jumped in the hire car, dropped the stuff at the hotel, and just went. Because the Northern Lights were never as close to us in our life before, and we had a chance to go see it. So we drove for 3-4 hours and pulled up to where it should have been. There's a bit of clear sky, and we saw the Northern Lights there. First time I ever saw them. I was really taken back by the speed and the depth of them, which you can't really see on the photo. And what I saw last night, I've seen the Northern Lights a few times in Cumbria, but nothing like what we had last night. The colours.
Last night was... I mean, it's that usual thing that a photo looks 1,000 times better than it does in real life. But the photo, I think, just accentuates that what you're looking at is actually that. It's just you can't...
Yeah.
You can't compress the image to see the colour. That's what it is, isn't it? But last night, even though what I've just said, you could still see pinks and greens up there.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Yeah. You could see purples, violets, and it just the shape of it as well. It looked like an egg had been cracked on the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it just spread out, didn't it?
Yeah. It was above our heads, wasn't it? It wasn't. I was expecting to see it on the horizon because they are a northern thing. You look north and that's when you see them.
I was looking north the entire time.
Yeah.
And Bertie, we were out having a campfire waiting for it. and it was getting quite late, about 11:30, I think it was,
Yeah.
until it started getting properly dark.
It's the darkness was the
Yeah.
problem, wasn't it? Because where we're so far north,
Yeah.
it doesn't get dark until
So it's
it
about
doesn't start getting dark till
it was
10.
about 11:30, and then I was looking north, and Bertie was sort of looking towards the west, and he's like, "Oh, I think I can see something," and I was just dismissing him.
Well,
of course, he can't see anything.
You can't see anything. You're not going to see anything above you or to the side
Yeah.
of you. It comes from the north. You're going to have to look north.
And so he kept saying, "No, I'm seeing like lines." I'm like, "Okay." So I turned my neck like that,
Click, click, click.
and I went, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
They're faint to start with, but I recognised what they were,
Yeah.
and then Tobias, Bertie, myself, Gemma was inside getting a cup of tea or something, and we were just like really excited. Like
It was.
they were like giddy little school children.
Yeah.
So was I.
Yeah. I was. We were the same outside. We'd had a barbecue.
Yeah.
And it was me and Mara and a couple of friends of ours, and we were just. I didn't recognise it to start with. Looked up there and was like, "We just like, are we going to get clouds?" I was looking up thinking, the cloud cover's coming in.
Yeah.
I checked the weather radar. I'm like, "Oh, there's no clouds here. There's
Yeah.
none at all." So I'm like, "Well, that has to be it." And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, I'd see little flicks,
Yeah.
little like the typical wave that just ripple through and then flicks
Yeah.
off. And it was like, "Oh, this is what we're looking at."
Yeah.
I'm still almost lost for words over it.
And it just got better, didn't it?
Yeah, until about, what was it, 12:30, I think it gave up.
So that's when I went to bed 12:30. I think you went to bed about
about the
12:30.
same, yeah.
I had a look at the forecast this morning,
Yeah.
and I'll put it back up now because the numbers tell the story. So when we were looking at it,
Yeah.
we were went at its peak at about 11 o'clock, wasn't it? About 11, half 11,
At half 11,
when we saw the real strong colours.
Half 11 was like, at 11:30 last night, it was bright enough to light up where you were standing.
Yeah.
Like, not like the moon,
No.
but it was like a half moon. It was
Yeah.
like, I can see my hand. It's not dark.
Yeah.
It's weird colours.
Yeah. So that was the measurement they used as a unit called NT.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but it's the number they use. So when we were looking at it, it was 670
Right.
NTs,
Right.
which is what they call red alert. A low number would be about 39, something we can't
Oh,
see.
wow.
Yeah, we can't see that in the UK, but you could see that sort of in the polar caps, so 39,
Yeah,
for
so there's
example.
a little something.
So that would kind of be the constant background amount of
Right, what, in the sort of
radiation
mid-30s?
or whatever it is. So we had it at 670, and then it went back down to about 400
Right,
at about after midnight, which is when
which is when we went to bed.
we thought that was it.
Oh, that was great.
Whilst we were sleeping,
Yeah.
it crept back up to 900,
No.
then to 1300, nearly double what we were looking at,
Wow.
and it's still going now.
It's still
So
up there. We just can't see it because of the sun.
yeah, it's 10 o'clock now, and
Amazing.
it's 700.
No, so it's more now
It's more now.
than it was when we thought it was amazing.
8 o'clock this morning, it was 1200.
So there's a chance that this recording might get cut short because of like an EMP or something.
And I'll just show you that now. I know the listeners can't see that. Maybe
Oh,
I'll take
wow.
a screenshot.
Oh, wow, yeah, take a screenshot.
Take a
and I'll put it
screenshot
on
and
here. So what's the forecast for tonight?
they say it might be continuing. So
Right.
look up.
Yeah, there is cloud coming in tonight though,
Yeah,
which is a shame.
rosy
But,
cloud.
yeah, no, you have to expect that. Don't you?
Yeah, we got a good showing last night, and once in a lifetime kind of stuff. That
Do you know what? It's almost like it was enough, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
What we saw last night was like, yeah, that'll do me.
yeah,
That'll do me.
absolutely wonderful. And then we had the whole conversations last night. The conversation you always have when you're around a fire and you start talking about the universe and what's on the other side and what
Life,
we're
the
expanding
universe,
into and
everything.
what are we all made of, and the kids were getting really into it, and
Getting into
they're
that.
just getting to that age where their minds are starting to go, whoa,
Yeah, hang on a minute. Things are more than getting
Yeah.
up in the morning, eating breakfast and going to school.
and just like all those philosophical questions about everything, and it's quite
It's
cool.
an exciting place to be,
It's
isn't
quite
it?
good. It's very inspirational, and
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see that again anytime soon. Anyway, we might get a showing tonight, but
aren't we? Because there is quite a good. There's some quite good science behind it, and I think what would you call it? It's the sun's. What is it like? It's like its tide table almost.
right.
I'm gonna go the sun's cyclical patterning.
You look that up. I'll just quickly say that I was so I've got this on this app on my phone, so it pings you every time there's an alert. It's like yellow alert, red alert, and quite often the case is I don't normally see it go to like these 600-900s. It might be something like 300 where you might be able to see it on camera. And I said to Gemma last night that we get it quite a lot, but the problem is we also get a tremendous amount of cloud cover,
Loads,
all the cloud.
all the time.
So yeah, to have such a strong reading and a clear sky.
It wasn't just a clear sky; it was a clear sky. There wasn't a breath of cloud up there.
Yeah, because I think the moon was a new crescent moon or something like that, and it was gone by 10:30. It was quite low on the horizon. I saw it there.
Yeah, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it dipped, didn't it?
And so not having that moonlight really helps as well.
So it's called the solar cycle.
Yeah.
So if we have a look, where is the sun on the solar cycle? I think
This is where it's like every 4 years or
every
something.
11 years.
11 years.
Which is why it's 20 years since it's the most one.
Yeah.
The most highest, the most activity. Because in 11 years, the sun goes from being most active to least active. So it's not quite, but it's nearly there.
Yeah.
The sun doesn't care about our years, so it's us, isn't it?
No.
But what happens is the sun's magnetic field flips apparently, and that's what creates these moments of, I think they call it solar maximum,
Right.
which is when we start getting these. What happens is you get where the magnetic field in the sun is flipping. This is how I understand it. Where the magnetic field flips, as it flips, you get these loops of magnetic energy, magnetic fields.
Yeah.
That don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Basically, so they tighten up, and then just burst out.
Yeah.
As they burst out all this solar matter.
Yeah.
I think it must be helium particles. I think that's because it's the used up bit of the sun's fuel. So I think it must be helium. But anyway, there's an element that's thrown out.
Yeah.
And it's that element hitting our magnetic field and then touching with the magnetic field forces it into
The ionosphere.
the ionosphere down to the earth, and then when it hits the atmosphere, the ionosphere and things, that's when we start seeing the colours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is just bonkers.
I looked up the speed at which these particles hit our atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Take a guess.
I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah.
And my immediate instinct was, well, it must be the speed of light, but it's not, because they've got mass.
Yeah.
And so it can't be that. But I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. At the moment I went, well, it isn't that. I was like, I don't know how fast it could be.
So I looked it up.
Go on.
45 million miles an hour.
Oh my god. Oh my, no wonder they're making colours up there. You'd be making colours
That
if
is
you made that
fast.
speed.
That is fast, isn't it?
Wow.
It's not the speed of light.
No, but it's
But it's
that
fast.
must be relativistic.
And the thing is, so that gives you an idea of how far away the sun is as well.
Yeah.
Because 8.5 minutes for light to reach Earth, but these masses were ejected a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
In before it reached. That's how they know that these things are
That's
going to
how they know
happen.
it's on the way, because they go, oh, hang on a minute, that'll be here in a couple of days.
What they don't know is how it might react with the atmosphere and the weather and all that sort of
what
stuff.
we can see and whether we even get hit by it.
Yeah,
Because it can,
space is so huge,
yeah, space is big.
and we're so
I don't know
small.
if anyone knew that.
We're here to tell you,
Pretty big spot.
groundbreaking stuff. Space is massive.
Yeah.
It's not massive. It's huge.
Yeah, it's well big, isn't it?
So 45 million mile an hour. Do you know what they call the northern lights in the southern hemisphere? So we call them the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, we call it Aurora Borealis. I think it's the Aurora Australis, isn't it?
That's it.
But
Aurora Australiaris.
but I don't know if I said that right.
No, I think it's something like Australiaris, or something like that. Named by
Don't know.
Captain Cook.
No way.
He coined the phrase.
Did he really?
He did.
What a bloke.
What a bloke.
That's mad, isn't it? That is mad. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. I'll put a load of photos in.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a podcast and there are no visuals,
No.
but
Here's a photo.
Yeah, here's some photos. I'm breaking a trend. You know, deal with it. It's our
Get
podcast.
over it. Get over it. So sticking with the southern hemisphere and the southern lights and south.
So would they have got it?
I don't know if they would have got it. I don't know. I don't know how. They might have.
Because I presume that the ejector, that's a weird word, isn't it?
Yeah.
The matter that's come off the sun is just, it's not going, I've got to head to the northern hemisphere, because the sun doesn't care where north is. So it's just going to hit the earth, and the magnetic field is going to push it north and south, presumably in nearly equal quantities, although it'll have a northern bias, wouldn't it, because of the tilt of the earth at the minute, because we're coming into summer.
Yep.
But you'd imagine some would go south, wouldn't you?
You'd think
You'd
so.
imagine so, anyway.
I'm looking at here we go. I'm looking at a forecast now. And I'll take a screenshot. Maybe we'll put this on there as well.
Yeah,
I'll show you. And that's what it's going on in the southern hemisphere.
Oh, so it is down there and all.
That's the South Pole.
Look at that. Shocking.
Yeah.
So has Australia got it?
It looks like maybe parts of New Zealand
Right.
and the southern tips of Australia.
So, right down south.
Yeah. And it was the southern hemisphere. That's I've never been in the southern hemisphere.
No.
And I couldn't imagine looking at a different sky. And
I always thought that would be the strangest thing.
yeah.
You and I don't know every star up there. We don't know every constellation. We've got the apps on our phones and we can have a look. But you look up there and you recognise the patterns at the very least. And you look up and you go, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I feel like it would be weird.
To look up and say, oh, where's Orion's belt? Where's the Big Dipper?
Yeah,
Where's
it's not there.
Well,
Well, it is, but you've got to look through the earth to see it.
Yeah, and you'd just be like, what's I'm really confused. How is this working?
Yeah.
And so I was watching a documentary on Shackleton.
Yeah.
And not so much about Shackleton, but Shackleton's captain, which was Frank Worsley. So,
Oh, yeah.
the documentary is more about his story being the captain of the ship, and Shackleton was just the boss, the guy who, the expedition leader or whatever. It was his thing, but Frank Worsley was the captain.
He was the man who was in charge.
He was navigating, making sure everyone's staying cool,
Yeah.
doing all the things that a captain does.
Yeah. Clean the decks.
Yeah.
Tighten those ropes.
Yeah.
And all that nonsense.
Swing the sheet.
Yeah, close, I think. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about boat words in the future.
I think this was
a minefield.
This was a coal-fired ship, though. I think it might have had sails as well. But,
Oh, okay.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, Shackleton, he was an Antarctic explorer, and
Imagine that. Imagine being in Antarctica. You go down there and go, yeah, it's all white.
Everything's white.
I need to see more white stuff, please.
It's really cold.
Yeah, really cold. We've never experienced cold like it.
Really, really cold.
I think I have once. Yeah. Believe it or not, it was in France.
Yeah.
I was driving to Disneyland with my wife, and it was like this isn't Shackleton cold.
This isn't minus 38.
Like minus 30, isn't it? But it was in the region like minus 12 to 15.
Yeah.
And I would get out of the car, and it would immediately give me a headache.
Yeah.
That's how cold it was.
Cold.
So,
yeah, Antarctic explorer, and he just loved the place, and he wanted to be the first person to go across the continent. And so anyway, he had this captain.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine going, I want to walk across that.
Yeah.
I've got no idea how far it is.
It's not been mapped. We don't know what's going on.
And our compasses won't work. So, walk straight.
Walk straight, and we'll figure it out. So a quick synopsis of what happens. They get on their boat. They make a couple of stops on some islands to store up on stuff. They buy something like 38 tons of whale meat.
That's mad. Isn't
And whaling. That's the thing we've got to touch on.
Whale, like, without being crude,
Yeah.
whales must have been delicious.
Well, it's
Because the Japs are still doing it,
it's
aren't
the
they?
whale oil which blows my mind.
Yeah.
And how many whales were there, and how much oil did you get out of one of these things? It was a terrible, cruel thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah, let's not start up the whaling boats
Yeah,
or anything.
but they ran lighting in cities on the oil from whales.
Whale oil.
Yeah.
Which means that the discovery of crude oil and the science to refine it saved the whales,
Yes.
didn't it?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like the mess that we're in now
Yeah.
saved the whales because, you know, we human beings basically wiped out species in less than 100 years.
Yeah.
And then went, oh, hang on a minute, we better do something else. But I don't think anybody thought about, you know, saving the whales
Yeah.
until many years after crude oil became established.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
we probably should look after these whales now that we decimated them.
I just think how many whales there must have been for there to be such a huge industry. It's
Yeah.
a huge industry.
It was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
insane.
Insane. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. So Shackleton's ship, he gets to the South Pole, and then he's going through the summer. Hopefully, he can get as close as he can on the boat before getting out on foot. And they get caught in pack ice, and it freezes over, and then the pack ice is moving because it's sea ice.
What it does.
And it moves them about all over the place, and they're on this boat for a year before then the ice eventually takes the boat, the Endeavour, and they have to get out. And
Imagine that. What on earth are you doing on a boat stuck in pack ice for a year? What are you doing?
drinking.
It's all they could be doing, isn't it?
Drinking. Well,
Drinking.
apparently they had quite a lot of entertainment, and from what the sources say, they were very comfortable.
Just reading books and...
They're prepared for it. They had the food.
Oh, they knew what was going to happen, didn't
Yeah.
they? They didn't go down there, with a Dairy Lunchable and a can of Coke.
They had all the water they wanted because they could melt the ice, because they
Yeah.
could just use the fires to melt the ice, and they had lots of food.
Yeah.
They had
Lots of whale
penguins and seals they could catch and eat, and so they had fresh meat. So it wasn't the most worst thing. And let's also remember that this was during the start of World War II.
Was it?
So yeah,
Was it that recent?
that was that recent.
Was
yeah.
it really?
So
Wow.
I think when they set sail on maybe the day England declared war,
Oh, I didn't realise it was that recent.
and Shackleton asked permission from Churchill to do this,
Right.
as he realised there's a war on.
Yeah.
Should I be doing silly things like this?
Yeah. Is it all right for me to bugger off to the South Pole while you lot are
Yeah.
dying,
And
basically?
I'm going to take 30 good strong men with me.
Yeah.
So Churchill gave him permission for it. Not that he needed permission, but he sought permission.
It was more of a nationalistic time, wasn't it? It was more, you sought those permissions, didn't you?
Yeah.
Rather than having a requirement for them, you looked for them.
So he gets on his ship. He goes down to Buenos Aires. He jumps on the boats. He picks up his meat. He goes down there. He gets caught in the pack ice, and they're in there for a year in this pack ice before they decide to abandon ship because the boat started to list over, and the ice was the pressure of the ice was crushing the boat.
Just crushing the boat. Imagine that.
So they abandoned ship. They set up camp. They dragged their lifeboats with them. And I think over the course of 3 days, they made
Remember, Joe. Remember.
something like 10 miles over 3 days.
Wow.
Like they just couldn't do it.
That's hard work, isn't it?
So they camped down the pack ice again. And Worsley said, Shackleton and Worsley had different opinions. Shackleton wanted to walk the ice. He wanted to walk 300 odd miles to this point on land where he knew there was a hut with supplies in from a failed Swedish expedition or something. A hut. But he knew that it was on land.
It was there.
There was resources there, and they could bunker down there for another year if they had to.
Yeah.
But every time they were walking forward,
Yeah.
pack ice was dragging them back.
No, really.
But they don't know that. Yeah, they're just walking, but the
they're
ice
just
is moving
walking,
back.
But they're not. Yeah, they're on a treadmill at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the treadmill. Worsley says because it's already a known phenomenon, a known measurement of how the pack ice moved.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, all right, if we just stay here, we're gonna have to stay here for 6 months.
It will just drag us there.
But it'll drag us to the. We'll eventually get to the edge.
Right.
Of where the sea is, and we can
get in our lifeboats.
Yeah. So they did that.
Amazing.
They stopped there for a bit, and I'm skipping over a lot of bits. I suggest everybody go out. There's podcasts and YouTube videos and documentaries.
This is just two blokes rabbiting.
We're
not historians.
so they get on the boat. They got their lifeboat. They had dogs as well, mate. You know, they had to make some tough decisions and all that sort of
dog
stuff.
meat is delicious.
So they get on their boat when they eventually reach the sea, and they decide to head to, I think, South Georgia was the island.
Yeah.
Or something like that, because they knew there was a whaling station on that island.
I'm sure it is South Georgia.
And so they get on the boat, and these are the southern seas. I know, you know. If you don't know, they're a terrible place to be.
I just wouldn't want to go there. I wouldn't want to. I used to have ambitions to sail, maybe not the world, but definitely get to 40 degrees south and things like that. But
and these southern oceans, there's no landmass. There's nothing to slow the waves and the wind.
And they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And they just go. Oh, just not the microphone there.
Oh dear.
And so they wanted to head to South Georgia, I think it was, or an island, and they sailed for something like 7 days. And in those 7 days, they figured they'd sailed something like 50 miles, but then got dragged back 50 miles from the current. So they ended up back where they started.
Oh, can you imagine that?
And so the decision was made by Worsley to go to this island called Elephant Island.
Right.
Which has been described as the most inhospitable place on Earth.
Really?
There's nothing there. Nothing grows there. It's sheer cliffs. It's glaciers. There's a little beach, maybe some penguins.
Oh my god, it's horrible. I'm looking on Google Maps at the minute, and it's the pointy up bit that looks a bit like a reflection of South America.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the northernmost point of that, and there's nothing there.
Nothing there.
No, I mean, don't go there. There's not a holiday to be had.
But that's where they landed. That's where they first landed. Him, 22 other guys in his boat. And they landed there because he figured that the currents will just drift him that way. That's the way to go.
Oh, right. So, yeah, take the route of least resistance.
Yeah, and at least it's a bit further north. And this is always what I find confusing about the Southern Hemisphere. To get warmer, go north.
Well, that is our northern perspective, isn't it? Yeah.
We go south for the holidays.
Yeah, they go north for
the holidays. They go north for the holidays. So they head there, and they're just knackered. Obviously, they're just knackered. But
they must be 2 years into it at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's heaven on earth for them at the moment because they just spent 18 months on pack ice.
Yeah, so now they've got actual ground below their feet.
And now they've got ground below their feet. And I think they had fresh water and stuff like that.
Like a different feeling, like in your mind, in your soul. You're like, I'm on earth, not on ice now.
I feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Because there is that thing with ice, isn't it? That it can just let go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. So they spend a couple of days on there. Shackleton realises that they can't stay there forever because there's no ships that are coming around here. We still need to get to that whaling station in South Georgia or wherever it is. So on the charts he looks and he goes, it's 800 miles away.
And all South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, they're called. They are bloody miles away. I'm looking at it now like I don't think we could comprehend an area of water that big.
And all they've got is this lifeboat. Well, no, they had 3 lifeboats, I should say. They travelled to the Elephant Island on 3 lifeboats.
Yeah.
And with Worsley leading the navigation of it. So when they got to that island, they stripped 2 other boats to reinforce 1 boat.
Oh, really?
To make the journey.
Wow.
To South Georgia. And he took 4 blokes with him. Worsley, Shackleton, the carpenter, and somebody else. And I think that took them. I think it took them about not that long, but it took them about a week, 10 days.
Yeah, that seems about right.
To get there. But they did all right. But the seas weren't kind. The weather wasn't kind, and what I'm getting to is how
It is 827 miles.
how great a navigator Worsley was.
Right.
He had his sextant.
Yeah.
He had his charts.
Do you know why it's called a sextant? 1/6 of a circle.
Something like
There
that.
you go.
I was going along those lines. And he had his watch, so he knew where he was on Earth.
Yeah.
He could
It's amazing to be able to do that.
he could position himself on Earth, but the
Yeah.
problem is you need to see the sun.
Yeah.
You need to see the sun, and if it's overcast, you're buggered.
Yeah.
Over those 800 miles, and ideally you take 2 measurements of the sun
Yeah.
at the same time. He only saw the sun 3 times over 800 miles,
And he still did it.
and he nailed it.
That's mad, isn't it?
He absolutely nailed it. Over
Sitting on this
800
boat in the
miles.
Southern Ocean going, in about an hour we'll see it, lads, don't worry. And then in an hour's time, we go, what's an hour? Oh, I can look at it on my watch.
Yeah.
And then it pops up.
Yeah, and he just knew.
Amazing.
His I think they call it dead reckoning
Yeah.
was unmatched,
Yeah.
and he could just sail across 3 times knowing
Just
where he
knew it.
was, and he managed to hit the island, and but they hit the wrong side of the island,
Right.
and then they had to walk over the island,
Oh,
interior
okay.
of this island, which had never been mapped before. They had
Right.
no idea what it was, what they're in for, and I think they spent 2 or 3 days walking across this place until they eventually found the whaling station. They get to the whaling station, they get the boat, they pick up their mates on the other side of the island, which they got to, and then they 2 to 3 months later eventually make it back to Elephant Island. At this point, they're like, oh, I hope these guys are alive.
Well, they might be dead at this point, mightn't they?
But no, they rock up, and all 22 blokes.
That's incredible.
Nobody died.
I can't believe no one died. That's just...
Yeah.
What? And that's... What? It must be at 2.5, 3 years at this point.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years in total. Maybe pushing into 3 years. I don't think it was too long, because once the boys were rescued,
Yeah.
they went back to the UK.
Yeah.
There was no pomp and,
Well, in the middle of a war.
yeah. They all went off to war.
Did they really?
Yeah, I don't think Shackleton did. I think he was too old.
The other ones all went to war and all got shot up.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, a few of them died. Some of them survived.
Yeah.
Shackleton died doing another expedition
Yeah.
on his way down there. He never made it, but
Never made it.
yeah, fascinating story, and just
It's incredible. That's incredible.
you just don't get that these days.
No. Well, it also... it's an incredible story. There's
Yeah.
no denying that. It's an incredible story. But also, it is a story of courage, and it's a story of, people doing amazing things. Men doing amazing things, because women weren't allowed out.
Yeah.
But it kind of is a story that we don't need today, because we're really good at looking after people.
Yeah.
We have the technology now that if you need to get to the South Pole, it's not easy,
But you can get there.
but you can get there without putting 24 blokes' lives at risk.
Yeah.
To get there, can't
Yeah.
you? So, a little snippet of knowledge, if you like.
Yeah.
There's a few little islands on that little tippy tip of Antarctica. That's a mirror of South America.
Oh yeah.
And those islands are called the South Shetland Islands.
South Shetland.
So we've got the Shetland Islands.
Yeah.
And the South Shetland
and the
Islands.
South Shetland Islands.
Just a little soupçon.
And it's
That's well interesting. Very interesting.
it
That.
is, and if they failed, I wonder whether it'd be seen in the same light as the Titan submarine that exploded last
Well-
year. Of course, that everyone's like, of course it failed.
Yeah.
Of course that thing was going to
Of
blow
course,
up.
But if you don't, I don't know. I think a lot of the Titan ridicule comes from people mocking rich people.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that. I mean, yeah, as we say a lot in this is probably a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But unless you do it, you don't know,
Yeah.
do you? And it does take some very brave people to have a go.
Yeah.
You know, the first Apollo mission didn't end well.
No.
They all died in an oxygen-rich environment in a fire. You know, so you could say, well, of course that was going to happen to them, couldn't
Yeah.
you? I think there's probably leads that go, no, this was always going to happen. We don't know about it really, but yeah.
But let's,
Stuff that.
I think, proper explorers and adventurers, and the world is discovered. And, but I think, going back to the Titan, of course it happened. Poor design. Who would get into a tube like that? But he was pushing boundaries. He was pushing the frontier.
Yeah.
And you could say it was innovation in what he was doing. It was the wrong innovation in the end, but it's harder to get to the bottom of the sea than it is to go to space.
Yeah. Well, to go to space, you've only got to negate one atmosphere.
Yeah.
To go to the bottom of the sea, it's thousands.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea, you know. A spaceship is a strong thing, but it's a strong thing for 14 psi. That's all it is. Atmospheric pressure is 14 psi, and it's all you've got to deal with.
Yeah.
But bottom of the ocean, different problem.
Different world.
Different problem. And I don't know, sort of like horrifyingly interesting, isn't it? The bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's one of those places that I have a real interest for, but would never want to go near it.
No. No. You know, like you see those world's deepest pool.
Yeah.
I would never want to go to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not that deep in comparison to the sea.
No, but you do look and go, I'm not going in that.
That looks scary.
I'm not even swimming in that. I'm not going near that bastard.
I can see the bottom, and it's
too deep.
It's too deep.
Don't like it. Don't like it. Going to end up getting done by one of those creatures out of the Star Wars Episode 1 in Naboo.
Oh yeah.
With a big head.
Okay, we'll leave it on that. I still haven't got a good outro for us, so
We'll just leave it there.
yeah.
Thanks for listening. Ta-bye.
Oh, like and subscribe.
Oh, like, subscribe, share, do all the things that you do.
Like and subscribe.
I might take that. I'm gonna cut that and use it in every one.
See you later.
Thanks, bye.
Where the bad pianos start to show, keys all out of tune, just watch them go. Welcome to Adam and Joe talking nonsense on the Outside Scoop podcast show.